Hello children, I hope you're doing well today. Let us start with our science class. So we started with ecosystems of forests and lagoons. We are going to move on. So for today, on the page 126, learning more about the ecosystem. Figure 2 shows two pupils discussing about living and non-living things in an ecosystem. Study figure 2 carefully. Sam and Nina are talking, so let us read their conversation. I think that living things depend only on other living things to live. I think that living things depend on both living and non-living things to live. So remember, we already saw about the different living things and non-living things in our ecosystem. And then we also talked about how living things depend on other living things to live and how living things depend on non-living things also. So with reference to the discussion between Sam and Nina, who do you think is right? So between Sam and Nina, you have to decide by yourself, okay? Whether living things depend only on other living things or whether they depend both on non-living things and also living things, you have to decide. Now refer to figure 1 on page 122 again. List two things on which the aquatic plants depend to live. On what does the deer depend to live? What will happen to the living things if the water in the river and pond dries up completely? Okay, so from your book on the page 122, we are going to see this together. So you're going to open your book on the page 122. So here I have taken the example of, let us take a look. List two things on which the aquatic plants depend to live. So the aquatic plants depend on sun, water and air. Okay? Sun, water and air. On what does the deer depend to live? The deer as well depend to live on sun, water and air as well as plants, because the deer is going to eat plants. So both plants and animals depend on sun, water and air. What will happen to the living things if the water in the river and pond dries up completely? So the living things, the aquatic plants and animals will, of course, they are going to die if the water in the rivers and ponds dries up completely. The deer is prey to which animal? So here in your dictionary, in your right, a prey is an animal that is hunted by another animal or by a person. So the deer is prey to the tiger. Let us move on with other questions. Let us now take a look on the page 127. We are going to read the questions. How are the plants useful to the animals? How are the animals useful to the plants? What can we conclude about an ecosystem? And then number 9, refer again to question number 1, the conversation between the boy and the girl, and improve your answer. Put a cross on the wrong statement in figure 2. So for number 6, how are the plants useful to the animals? Animals get oxygen from plants. Okay, all animals get oxygen from plants. You have some animals, herbivorous animals, who are going to feed on plants to live. Herbivorous animals such as the deer, the cow, the rabbit, goat. Okay, animals take shelter in trees and shrubs. Animals, which means animals such as monkeys, they are going to take shelter in trees as well as birds. So this is how the plants are useful to animals. Now, how are the animals useful to the plants? Animals pollinate flowers. So animals such as the butterfly, bees, they are going to pollinate flowers. Animal waste can be served as manure for plants. Animal waste, animals such as the cow, can serve as manure for plants. Animals contribute to seed dispersal. So we talked about seed dispersal, how, for example, a bird, okay, is going to take a seed and throw it somewhere, and then the plant is going to germinate and produce a new plant. Okay, so this is okay. So now number 8, what can we conclude about an ecosystem? So, as you all know, living things depend on other living things to exist in an ecosystem. So this is what we can conclude, that living things depend on other living things to exist in an ecosystem. Now you are going to refer again to question 1, and you are going to improve your answer. Who do you think is right between the two? You're going to put a cross on the wrong statement in figure 2. Let us move on. We are now going to take a look in activity 3. Threats to our forest and conservation issues. Threats meaning the dangers which our forests are facing. Conservation issues include the protection of trees and animals. So you are going to observe figure 3, you have some pictures. Figure 3 also consists of the threats to forests. You have this first picture, fire in forest fire. The second picture, which shows how the forest has been cleared. Also you have pictures of how the land has been cleared for other purposes. Discuss with your friends what is happening in the different situations as illustrated in figure 3. So now we are going to see about figure 3. What can you say for figure 3? Let us. So one of the threats which forests are facing is deforestation. Okay, deforestation is the cutting down of trees in a forest. We are going to see some effects of deforestation. Let us read an introduction on what is deforestation. Okay, forests cover 31% of the land area on our planet. They produce vital oxygen and provide homes for people and wildlife. Many of the world's most threatened and endangered animals live in these forests. 1.6 billion people rely on benefits forests offer, including food, fresh water, clothing, traditional medicine, and shelter. So can you see the importance of forests here? They provide us with oxygen, also shelter for wildlife. Okay, and then shelter also for endangered animals. And then we have other benefits such as food. You have medicine from these plants and the shelter for many animals. So as you can see in the picture, the first picture is of a very dense forest. So this dense forest is habitat of many animals. Now you have the second picture where forests have been cleared, where has been the effect of deforestation. Now take a look, you have this animal who has lost its habitat. So this is mostly about what deforestation does. Let us see the causes of deforestation. The first one is clearing land to build houses. Now, clearing land not only to build houses but other buildings. Countries resort to deforestation to cope with the increasing demand for housing brought about by the growing population. Yes, it's true, because of the growing population, because of the growing needs of people. Okay, so countries resort to deforestation. Felling trees for wood. Logging or simply cutting down trees for timber is one of the main causes of deforestation. So nowadays, the wood is being in high demand for furniture and for other purposes. Agriculture, to provide land for food crops such as palm oil and for rearing cattle. Undisturbed rainforest areas end up being removed. Other land uses, land for mining and industrial projects and for building of dams. Okay, before we end our class, let us see the adverse effects, which mean the negative effects of depletion of trees. Depletion of trees meaning the reduction in the number of trees. It has contributed to rise in temperature. Why? Because when you're cutting down trees, the amount of carbon dioxide is keeping on increasing. Okay, it has contributed to lesser precipitation. It is responsible for increased rate of soil erosion. It is responsible also for increase in the frequency and volume of floods. It has led to loss of soil productivity. It is responsible for loss of biodiversity. It has led to extinction of several species of plants and animals. Also, it has caused imbalance in ecosystem. So these are all the negative effects of deforestation. Deforestation is one of the threats that forests are facing. We have among others such as forest fires. Okay, we are going to continue in our next class. Thank you very much, children, for being attentive. We are going to continue with our topic on threats to forests in our next class. So till then, take care. Stay safe at home. Bye bye.